The other side just a little bit, because essentially the kind of response, I think, from a lot of progressives was somewhere between meh and really being actually upset and feeling that they were essentially set aside by the Hillary Clinton campaign, that they're being taken for granted. Let me show you a poll that came out from Monmouth University. This is before the pick, and it asked which pick would make you more likely to support Hillary Clinton. Right at the top, Bernie Sanders. That was never going to happen. Clearly, he wasn't even being vetted, right? I think that was pretty clear. But Elizabeth Warren, right up there at 24%. And here's somebody that could have excited progressives, would have been a game changer. Two women on the ticket. Cory Booker up there at 13, Al Franken, Julian Castro at 10%, obviously could have helped with Latino voters. There's Tim Kaine way down there at the bottom. He was never somebody that was going to really excite progressives. Have progressives been taken for granted with this pick?
I thought you were going to just leave it at have progressives been taken for granted, and I think the answer is no.
No, but let me give you one more thing.
But then you said with this pick, and I keep going back to one. The platform, her candidacy, her stances have moved as a result of progressives in the party, but all shifted leftward a bit. But also, again, she's looking to win the White House and then to govern. And if what you have is a progressive agenda, then you are going to get it. If you have a President Hillary Clinton, you ain't going to get it if it's a President Trump.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Taken before people started to learn about him, because if you look at his whole record, I mean, I think everybody is focusing just on a couple things here and there rather than 100% voting, pro-choice voting record. High recommend, F rating from the NRA. I mean, remember, Hillary has made gun safety measures a centerpiece of this campaign. Criminal justice reform, voting rights for, reinstating voting rights for felons. That's something he used his executive order as governor to do. So I think the more people learn about him,
I get it. But I have to get this in our last minute, because on a very important issue to Democrats, one of the issues that Trump is attempting to poach Democrats on is this issue of the big banks, where Elizabeth Warren was really strong. Tim Kaine, according to the Huffington Post, has very recently, in the lead-up, while he was in the running for VP, called for deregulation of the banks. He's quite to the right.
It was actually not the big banks. The letter that he signed on to was for community banks and credit unions. And when I think community banks, I think of Industrial Bank in my neighborhood in Washington, D.C. Black-owned bank has been serving the black community for, I think, over 100 years. Banks like that, I think the issue that they were raising, that bank can never compete with, Bank of America and Wells Fargo. They're never going to have the same kind of capital, the same capital requirements when they're actually the banks that are lending to these florists and other small businesses, black-owned businesses actually in my neighborhood. So I think let's not just put the talking points out there. Let's actually make sure we know the facts when we're talking about deregulating the big banks. Because remember, he was also a very strong defender of the CFPB.
But I mean, I think that the issue, just generally, and then we will have to leave on this. But I'll give you one more shot at this. These guys are doing a great job advocating here. Is that I think the thing that has most animated this election on the Democratic side has been this sense of a rigged system, has been a sense that Wall Street got away with murder, essentially, in what they did to the economy in 2008. And the sort of revolutionary fervor, the sort of energy on the party is on the left. And so by picking somebody who's such a centrist, he's not a blue dog, that's true, but he's personally pro-life. He's a white guy, which is, I think we thought she was going to do that. He doesn't get you young voters. He doesn't get you women. He doesn't excite the base of the party.
Let's come on, it's been a day.
And he doesn't get the people who are upset about Wall Street. That's what animated the party. How is Hillary Clinton going in this direction?
But there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that animated the party. And I mean, if we're going to go down this route, I mean, we could talk. Actually, I'm not going to go down that route, because that is water on the bridge. I was going to talk about the NRA and a certain other candidate who was running, who was more cozy with the NRA. But look, I think Karen is right. Senator Kaine is someone who people are going to get to know, and I know Senator Kaine. I've talked to Senator Kaine, but there are things that I read about him in his profiles in the Washington Post and the New York Times that I didn't know, that I think for the base they're really going to like. And I did my own little Twitter poll, and
hey, we both did Twitter polls. Okay, hold on.
58% of my 465 votes so far are so excited about Tim Kaine.
Okay.
I've got 34% who are meh. But the key, only 8% are saying, I'm not feeling it.
Okay, all right. And my competing Twitter poll, 1,089 votes. Excited, 39%. Okay with it, 44%. Disappointed, 12%. Other, 5%. And I'm going to take host privilege and leave on that note. Thank you to Karen, Finney, and Jonathan.